Hi friends, hopefully you have gone through my previous video on inventory management. In that particular video, I have highlighted that inventory has some cost. Then it is a highly important one for any entrepreneur that when they will place a order for a particular inventory. In that context, one category is quantity of order you have to place to a certain supplier, or quantity of order you have to need to keep in your organizations to make the inventory the minimum cost. In that context, there is always be a counteraction that how much quantity you have to keep under your organizations, because objective of the inventory management is that to minimize the cost or optimize the cost by which you can getting the maximum value. But inventory has some costs, and every time there is a trade-off that your profit should be more than your cost. So in that context, there are two important inventory come into picture where the maximum cost has been incurred. One of the important cost is the holding cost, and second important cost is ordering cost. Again, there is a trade-off. Whether you go for the holding cost, in the line of storage cost, you have to keeping or putting maximum money for development of your storage system. Hopefully you have understood in the context of the management of the godowns, warehouses. You have some inventory or stock keeping unit by which you are also putting some cost for keeping the inventory quality proven. Second is insurance cost, because whenever you are putting some money or large chunk of the money in the investment, you need some insurance. If the things will not be go as per your plan, that maybe the chances that the obsolescence has been observed, you find some depreciations, and every time even the holding cost, the people who are working in the system to manage the inventory, just like your storekeeper, that his particular person's wage and salary has been added on in the holding cost. Then how much quantity you have put under your control as the holding cost, that is again a decision making process, because whenever the inventory under your control, though you have incurred some money in the line of holding cost, but every time you have to access to particular raw materials. If the raw materials will be there, then your machine could not be stopped at any point of the time, and your customer has the obligation for your organizations that every time your output will be ready and customer will be satisfied. But another angle is that if putting the cost in the holding or the storage system, your cost will be increased, then that will be impact on the price of the product, and that price may or may not be acceptable by the customers. So again, you think about that, I should keep my holding cost minimum, and simultaneously I also thinking about the ordering cost. Ordering cost is also called as the setup cost. That cost also be categorized into different types. That is the requisition cost. Requisition cost, you can say that putting the invoice with the suppliers, all the administrative practices that is going on, from telephone calls to the paperworks. Material handling cost, just like the loading, unloading, grading, checking the quality of the raw materials, accounting and auditing, all will be connected with the ordering cost. Means to say that if you connect the supplier and asking about that we need very less quantity of the raw materials, then your ordering cost will be increased. If you buy large chunk of the raw materials from the supplier, you may get some discounts, but on another side your holding cost will be increased. In this context, there is always be a trade-off between holding cost and the ordering cost. When holding cost will be minimum, hopefully you have observed here, when the holding cost will be minimum by asking about very less quantity under your control or less quantity from the supplier, your setup cost will be higher. As holding cost will be going on and you are asking about more and more product from the more and more raw material from the supplier, your holding cost will be increased, your storage cost will be increased, you control maximum raw materials under your controls. But another angle, your setup cost will be minimized, because your administrative cost will be going down, your setup cost will be going down, your ordering cost will be going down. But the problem is that as a astute manager, you can say that as an entrepreneur, you always be a tie-up or trade-off between the holding cost and the setup cost, because the objective is that to minimize the cost. If you hold maximum, then your cost will be increased. If you buy less quantity from the supplier, you may not get the advantage of the discounts that has been given by the suppliers. Then you should be come to a conclusion that I should have a very optimized balance between the holding cost and the setup cost. That optimized point is called as the economic order quantity model. How we can derive the economic order quantity model, I will describe in my next video. But the thing is that the objective to minimize the cost is the objective of the organizations. But other than that, your price of the product will be increased. And once the price will be increased, your customer will shift to your competitor. That is the things you need to understand, that economic order quantity models. And what are the assumptions, how this particular model has been developed, I will discuss in my next video. Hopefully you get some information in today's video. Be connected with me. Thank you all.